So you got a job offer, huh? Congratulations, that's great news. Something doesn't seem right about it, does it? You should decline that job offer. The red flags are easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. So boil up some coffee, grab a snack, sit your butt right there because you're going to want to watch this one all the way through. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Ramblin' Recruiter, the channel that's dedicated to helping you find the job of your dreams and make the most of your career. My name's Darren DeLuca, and I've been a recruiter for nearly 2 decades now. And in that time, I've learned a thing or two about hiring and getting hired. Now, I want to share that information with you. If that sounds good, subscribe and click the bell to enable notifications so you never miss anything again. Some housekeeping. Links to everything we're talking about today will be below in the description. Watch till the end of the video. If you're interested in purchasing some merchandise, I will put a 10% off promo code on screen towards the end of the video. This is a totally viewer-supported channel. This is your channel. So any and all contributions to help keep the lights on are greatly appreciated. You'll find links to my PayPal and Patreon sites down below in the description. Thanks for that. That being said, let's get into it, shall we? Smash the like button. Here we go. Have you ever been on a job interview and you got the nagging feeling that this was just not the place for you? Have you ever been asked to do a massive presentation as part of an interview process? Have you ever had an interview rescheduled the day of? No notice? All of these are examples of job interview red flags, signals that tell you you should decline the job offer and you should run, not walk, away from this company. A lot of times we go into job interviews thinking from a place of desperation, right? Especially if you're not working. I've got to get this job. I've got to get this job. We get so focused on that it's very easy to miss what should be obvious red flags telling you, run, don't walk, get away from this company because this is a bad place to work. But if you know what you're looking for, the red flags are easy to spot. But remember this. Interviews are not supposed to be a grilling. It's not supposed to be they ask, you answer, and never the two shall converse in the middle. It should be a good two-way dialogue. And if you can get into that mindset, you'll find it a lot easier to spot the red flags that are telling you working for this company would be like jumping from the frying pan into the fire. So here are 4 red flags that are telling you you should run, not walk, and get away from this company. Red flag number 1. The company reschedules the interview the day of with a poor excuse or no excuse at all. Now look, for all of us, shit happens. And just as we would want a company to be sensitive to us if we had something beyond our control happen, an illness, a sick child, a death in the family, a car accident, or other kind of car trouble, that's understandable. But if the company doesn't give you any kind of excuse, or the excuse they give you is really poor, like, oh sorry, the hiring manager's busy, something came up, this is an absolute red flag and is a signal of 2 things that you should absolutely keep in mind. Number 1, they don't value your time, and number 2, they're highly disorganized. This is a red flag, steer clear of it. In my nearly 20 years as a recruiter, my philosophy has always been everybody gets one. I will reschedule an interview once for a candidate or for a hiring manager that has something come up and needs to reschedule. I will not reschedule a second time. And that attitude has served me well over the years, and I think it will serve you well too. Red flag number 2, the hiring manager is late and either gives you no excuse or blames the company for it. Now look, this is another situation that you should take with a grain of salt, okay? Lateness happens. If you have meetings that are back to back to back to back, and any one of them run long, that's gonna make you late for the rest of your day. Don't believe that? Go to a doctor's office and see what happens when you have an 11:30 appointment. That being said, if the hiring manager is more than 15 minutes late, has a terrible excuse or no excuse at all, or blames the company for them being late by saying something like, sorry I'm late, this company doesn't give us enough resources to do our job, so I was busy. That is a clear red flag that you should run, not walk. Again, they're not respectful of your time. You probably had to take time off of work, or maybe you had to make excuses, duck out of work, whatever the case may be, to be there. And 2, hiring managers are typically on their very best behavior when they're interviewing you. So if the hiring manager's blaming the company for them being late when they're on their best behavior, just imagine how toxic they'll be on their worst behavior. Get out of there, don't fall for it. Red flag number 3. They want you to do a major presentation on an actual live topic that the company is facing. Let me explain what I mean by that. It is often normal and acceptable as part of an interview process to ask a candidate to make a presentation, but make a presentation on a topic of their choosing. If my goal is to assess your presentation skills, I don't really care what topic you're presenting on. It's also normal to include some kind of assessment testing if you're trying to measure somebody's skills with a particular software or their skills with a particular technology, like specifically for programmers and developers. That's normal. What's abnormal and something that you should absolutely run from is when the company asks you to do a major presentation on a live business issue that they're facing. Say for the sake of argument, you're a marketing manager and you're interviewing with XYZ company, a consumer electronics business who just happens to be launching a brand new Apple compatible watch. Now, their marketing director, the hiring manager of the position you're interviewing for, says, yeah, when you come in for your interview, we would like to see you do a presentation on our new gizmo, and the head of marketing will be there. We want you to incorporate all the market research data you can find and help us develop a viable marketing strategy. Now, this would be something that would take you hours to complete and is live work. It's viable. It's something that they could actually use going forward. Run, don't walk from this situation, and here's why. As shady and underhanded as this type of behavior sounds, it happens, and it especially happens frequently with startups. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they invited 3 to 5 candidates to come in for that marketing manager interview. 3 to 5 candidates brought them highly viable marketing strategies that a tremendous amount of research and effort went into, hours to complete. Guess what? That company just got hours and hours and hours of free consulting work from you and all the other candidates that came in for that interview. I guarantee if they got 5 viable marketing strategies, they'll suddenly decide that they don't have the budget to fill this position or they don't need this position, but I do guarantee you they'll choose one of those marketing strategies and run with it. If the company is asking you to do actual work for them, I would either A, politely decline, or B, say, yeah, sure, I would be happy to put together a marketing strategy for your new gizmo at my normal consulting rate of $250 an hour. If they guffaw and throw their hands up in the air and say that's outrageous, then you know exactly what you were dealing with, a company that was looking to get free work done. Don't fall for it. Run, don't walk. Red flag number 4. The company tells you they're going to prepare an offer for you, then asks to see proof of your compensation history by asking you to provide tax returns, W-2s, or pay stubs for a previous period of time. Run, do not walk from this. In many locations in the United States, this is illegal to ask for this information. Google the Fair Pay Act of 2016 to get the most recent and up-to-date states and municipalities where it is illegal to ask a candidate to provide their salary history. Even if wherever you live it is not illegal, this is absolutely not information that you should be sharing. I would politely decline and say, I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable sharing that kind of personal, confidential information with anyone outside of my immediate family other than my accountant. If they tell you that it is a condition for them to make an offer for you that you provide this information, I would say something along the lines of, that's really unfortunate. I'm sorry it won't work out. Thanks for calling. It's absolutely okay if you want to share what your expected compensation is, and if you need some help with that, check out the video I'm linking to up here. What are your salary expectations? That'll give you some good ideas how to handle this question. It's also okay, although a lot of career experts will tell you it's not, I believe that it's okay to share your current salary and your expected salary. I believe it's okay to share your entire current compensation package and your expected total compensation package. Any company that's asking to see your tax returns or your W-2s or anything along those lines is trying to find out if at some point in the recent past you got a big bump up in your salary. And if that's the case, then they'll use that as an excuse not to offer you what you're asking for. Let's say, for the sake of argument, they asked for 5 years of salary history, and you were at 60, 62, 63, and then suddenly it jumped up to 80,000 because maybe you got a new job or maybe you got promoted. They'll say, oh, you haven't been making that much money for very long, so we're not going to offer you the $90,000 that you're asking for. Even though it's fair for the position, it'd be too much of an increase too quickly for you. Don't fall for this. Do not share any of this information with any HR department or recruiter. Now, there's one exception to that rule. If you are asking for a sign-on bonus or long-term incentives at the time of hire, either A, to offset losses that you're walking away from at your current company, or B, to offset something that you would have to pay back to your current company, then absolutely expect that you're going to have to show some kind of proof. When I got my current job, I asked for a sign-on bonus to offset the bonus I would be losing at my previous company. And yes, I was asked to provide proof of that bonus, and I had no problem doing so. But my boss went so far as to tell me, take a black Sharpie, a black magic marker, and redact all the information on your total compensation sheet that does not relate specifically to that bonus you're walking away from. Companies who know what they're doing know how to handle this situation without sitting there and saying, we need to see your tax returns from the last 5 years. Don't fall for that. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and getting value out of it, smash the like button, leave me a comment. It's really helpful with the YouTube algorithm when you show the algorithm that you're engaged with the videos. So please, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I also would just like to call your attention briefly to this. Who wouldn't want this face on a t-shirt? Keep watching. I'm going to put a 10% off promo code on screen. It's not going to be easy to reject a job offer, particularly if you're not working. But if you go into these interviews with the mindset of, we're interviewing each other, this is going to be a nice two-way conversation, the red flags will be much easier to spot. Now, even if you feel awful because you turned down a job offer, it was the only offer you had in hand, but the company was waving red flags all over the place, there's going to be another job that comes along. Have faith in the process, and if you need additional help and one-on-one coaching, consider becoming a Patreon supporter of this channel. You can get one-on-one coaching directly from me. So this, of course, was not an exhaustive list of all the red flags out there. These are some of the biggest and most frequent that I see, but the most important thing I can tell you, trust your gut. If something doesn't seem right, doesn't smell right, doesn't look right, or if somebody who was supposed to be on their best behavior because they were interviewing you is kind of a dick, you know that's what it's going to be like in real life. Don't let it happen to you. There's nothing worse than leaving a job that was okay but not great and jumping into a job that's terrible and you hate it. That's a bad feeling. Don't let it happen to you. Now would be a great time to smash that like button if you haven't already done so, and subscribe, click the bell, enable notifications. You'll never miss anything again. Why don't you check out the video that's right down here? That's the one that YouTube thinks you're going to like the best, and they're usually right. I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your job searching day. Stay classy, YouTube.